Welcome back, everyone. This is Radio Free Market, and I'm your host, Michael McKay, and with me, Professor Don Boudreaux, and we're talking about immigration. And Don, just before the break, we were talking about the net benefits of a kind of a checkpoint system, which is much more open, not quite a pure open border concept, but a concept that would only restrict those that were known violent criminals and those that had communicable diseases. So you were outlining some of the other benefits of this kind of structure to us. Please continue.
Well, greater freedom, and not only for for foreigners who would like to live and work in America, but greater freedom for Americans. As I was saying, immigration restrictions imposed by Uncle Sam serve as a screening device on the people whom I might wish to associate with on my private property. Mm-hmm. And I'm capable of choosing who I want to mow my lawn, who I want to cook my meals in a restaurant, who I want to marry, who I want to invite into my house for a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. That's my business. But the government, by pre-screening, says, no, we get first say. We keep a lot of people out, and only those who get in with our permission, only then can you choose to invite them to be your coworkers or your employees or your employer or your spouse. And that's a restriction on my freedom. And freedom of association surely counts, or ought to count, as a fundamental human freedom, a right that ought not be violated by the state, and immigration restrictions violate that right.
Well, it's obvious to me that this kind of a structure would save billions upon billions of dollars and allow resources to be redirected toward protecting citizens from real harm.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have, I don't know how many billions of dollars spent annually. Think about this. I mean, this is really perverse. We're spending billions of dollars annually trying to prevent people who are willing to work and want to work from coming to America to work. Now, that is perverse beyond imagination, and yet we do it, and most people don't blink an eye at it because we've done it so long. There are, obviously, in the world, a handful of people, some internally, many externally, who would like to inflict violence on innocent Americans. Mm-hmm. And let's devote, let's take all the resources that we're now wasting trying to protect us from people who want to work here. Let's take those resources and instead redirect them to focus on discovering would-be terrorists and punishing would-be terrorists.
Would this kind of a structure make it easier to apprehend would-be terrorists?
I think it would. You know, people have this mythical this delusion that if only we really got strict on the borders, only if we really enforced the immigration laws as they now exist, then only approved people could get in. But that's absurd. We have huge borders, unfenced borders in Canada and along the Mexican border. We have, obviously, seacoasts, a lot of seacoasts. Mm-hmm. Any terrorist who wants to get in to inflict harm can get in. Mm-hmm. And they'll get in under any regime. And so I think the best we can do is to, first of all, open up immigration. That'll make the economy even wealthier. That'll increase the amount of resources we have to devote to thwarting and apprehending terrorists. So I think it would get better in the sense that the immigration enforcement effort, or the Protect American effort, would not be diluted. It would be focused on protecting us from real harm rather than spread out and protecting us from people who want to work, which is where the bulk of the resources are spent, which is absurd.
Mm-hmm. So, it is the most common objection to more open immigration that we have our welfare state, and there's a number of problems with this argument, and I want to kind of go through them fairly systematically with you. One of the more problematic has this endorsement, or basically this problem that's been thrown up by Milton Friedman himself, who otherwise was a great advocate for free trade, but he argued against more open borders because of the welfare state. But you've disagreed with his thinking. Can you outline that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a great fan of Milton Friedman. He was truly a wonderful economist and a great champion of freedom. But I'm quite confident that on this issue he was wrong. He just did not think about it with the same rigor that he normally thinks about things. And here's the first reason I say that. If the main problem with immigration is that immigrants are coming here to milk American taxpayers, then why is so much immigration legislation devoted to preventing immigrants from working? It's crazy. You know, if someone from Mexico wants to come to America to suck off the welfare state, then, well, first of all, let me back up. I'm opposed to the welfare state, just as Milton Friedman was. I get rid of the welfare state, right? Mm-hmm. But let's take it as a given for now. The welfare state exists. Then, at least before you conclude economically about the effects of immigration and the welfare state on immigration, at least before you do that, you have to say, all right, let's open up the opportunities to immigrants to work.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt you again. This is Radio Free Market. We're going to take another break, so please stay with us. We'll be right back.